Hello, can you hear me? Hi, good evening. This is Luminous Live. My name is Ahmed. Can you hear me? Mayong gabi sa inyong lahat. Magandang gabi, Ying, si John, si Feisty, si Daniel, si Anacleta, Victor, Luz, Wenz, Marty, si Gado, Maki, Melissa, Peka Peka, si El de Peralta, si Luna. Oy, Cash, what's up? Okay, attendance is good. Ang problema natin ay wala pa si Angkol JP. Tinawagan ko na siya, sabi niya oo daw. Pero may ano yata, hindi yata siya pure Filipino si Uncle JP, may halong Indian. Mhm. Opo. Okay. Ah, all right. Sina Melody Faith, si Ingracia, si Flor, ayan po, si Uncle JP. Let's add him.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Napapanood kita. Kaya lang, yung aking
Magandang gabi po,
good
Uncle JP.
evening. Binigyan mo ko ng bagong pangalan.
Uncle JP.
Kala ko Marites na yung pangalan ko.
I-explain natin yan. Nandito yan, historical maritesism.
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 Okay. Maganda
Yes.
yan na pagsisimula natin. Kasi ginawa ni Digong na ano yan, no? Kumaga, official word, no? Yung Marites.
Teka muna, naririnig. Teka lang muna, Uncle JP. Naririnig nyo ba ng malinaw si Uncle Marites?
Okay daw.
Shout out, Peps.
Shout out, sino? Debs, Joaquin. Asan
Okay.
yung mga...
Naririnig nyo ng maayos si Uncle JP? Sige nga, tell me.
Yes, any reaction? Ay! Sir, meron akong guest dito na gawin natin
Ano sabi mo?
ng ating...
Baka ako lang ang hindi nakakarinig sa'yo dahil wala akong earpiece. Sige lang, continue.
Okay, meron akong guest dito. Oh, hi! Mag-hi ka muna sa mga kaibigan natin.
Hi, sir. Okay.
Balik mo na sa dual vision, dual camera, or kukuha ka ng headphone. Anyway, replay na? Bakit? Huwag mo kami iwanan. Okay, thank you, here. Okay, now,
Tuloy lang, nandito lang ako.
Okay, very good. Ano nang in-intro mo to, ne? Wala pa sa topic?
Yung topic natin, yun nga, yung mga bagay-bagay na hindi natin alam about our history.
Yes, pero bago tayo pumunta sa history, dito muna tayo sa kasalukuyan. Pwede ba yun?
Oo, sige, go ahead.
Oo, sa mga hindi nakakaalam nung aking... hindi, kahit sa Luminous, makikita nyo, may pinost ako kanina, no? Nakalink yung...
Yun.
Mahirap kasi siyang intindihin minsan, yung mga sinusulat ko kasi mahahaba. Kaya lang, pagpasensyahan nyo na po kasi hindi naman ako nagsusulat para sa rich, hindi kaya sa, alam mo yun, yung mga one-liner, mga ganun na wala namang message. I wrote something kanina about how you can easily change a message, making two things which are true into something which will not be noticed or become a joke or something like that. You can change the meaning of things by just mixing up true things. Okay? If you have read that, or if you have not, the context is, mas mabilis na siguro kung diretsyo na natin, no? Ang context ito, yung unang press con na ginawa with our friend, Trixie, as a press secretary. So if you read it, no, o yun, may nag-yes no, you can see there, hindi natin inaatake yung reporter. This just so happened that Trixie is our friend and this is not even to defend Trixie. I know wala kaming alam kung ano reaction ni Trixie doon. She doesn't know about that. Pero ang mahalaga dito is we read things that are published. We are exposed to information that are provided to us by public sources, no? Maaring yan ay eskwelahan natin, yan ay simbahan, yan ay advertisement sa radyo, yan ay news, anywhere. We're exposed to all of this information and we expect all of them to be true. Di ba, Terne? Yung truth in
Yes.
the communication sphere, yun yung dahilan kung bakit natin siya pinoprotect. Tama po ba yun?
Tama yun.
Is there any right for anyone to be spreading lies sa
Mm,
constitutional right to free speech? Does that include, kunwari gusto ko lang magkalat ng pure lie, can I do that
okay. Uh,
and invoke my right?
Ipaliwanag ko, no, but it's not exactly saying, it's not exactly to say that may right na magsabi ng totoo at walang right na magsabi ng kasinungalingan. Ang right ay magsabi. Okay? Ang
Okay.
right ay magsabi. Okay?
Okay.
Yung magsabi ng katotohanan at magsabi ng mali, okay?
Oh.
Ang ibang mga mali na sinasabi natin ay pinapunish ng batas, ng criminal law. Okay?
Mhm.
Yung mga ibang mali lang, hindi lahat ng mali na sinasabi natin ay pinaparusahan. Merong
Mhm.
mga ibang pinaparusahan kagaya ng libel, kagaya
Mhm.
ng slander, at saka ng false publication that affect public security and order. Okay, pero
So
hindi
merong
lahat.
concept of false publication na
Meron.
walang injury. Kasi yung
May injury sa state, not
sa
necessarily sa
state.
individual person.
Okay, so I cannot actually use, say for example, I am owner of a TV station. Ha?
Mm,
Kunwari, owner ako ng TV station.
mm,
Tapos magbo-broadcast ako 24/7 ng mga materyales na gawa ko na ang topic doon ay ang ating bansa ay actually galing sa ilalim ng lupa at tayo ay dating mga dahon. At
mm,
yun yung a totally false picture of reality. Would that
mm.
be allowed? And even if you will say that's purely kung papaniwala mo,
Fiction.
bahala ka, but nobody will even believe that. Oh. So,
Okay.
is that right of
Kung
free speech?
is it protected
Oh, is
publication?
it protected?
Kung ano, it is protected publication but it has to have parang disclaimer. Kung ikaw yung publisher at hindi ikaw ang sumulat nun, kung ikaw ang publisher, merong expectation sa'yo na diligent ka to say that this is probably a work of fiction or
O kung
this is
wala,
the
okay.
opinion of an author, not
Hmm.
necessarily the opinion of the publisher. So kaya
Okay.
may mga ganun, yun yung reason doon para mahugas ng
Alright.
kamay yung publisher.
In other words, ang isang listener or isang ordinaryong tao has a reasonable as a reason to expect na every information provided to me publicly na nakikita ng lahat, di ba? I have
Mm.
the reasonable na dapat lahat yan sila mga totoo yan para hindi ako ma-expose to mind-boggling lies day in day
Mm.
out sa mga public sources. Tama po ba yan? Reasonable
Yes.
ba yun na Okay. So in other words, when you see things, when you hear things, when you are taught things, these things are expected to be true. But in what I wrote here, you can actually put two things together which are all true, but come up
Mm.
with a different different appreciation of those truths.
Tama,
Tama?
halimbawa may yung kagaya nung dito sa post mo, ito po yung post
Mm.
ni Angkol
Mm.
JP kanina sa Luminous. Kung gusto
Mm.
nyong mabasa yan in its entirety,
Entirety.
puntahan nyo lang muna doon. Okay, you can listen to us while you read this
Mm-hmm.
sa audio lang. But
Pero siguro,
the point
you
is,
can go to the
yeah,
yung parang
yung
may
yung
ginawa tayong
yung text
formula.
niya.
Sa
Oh,
baba.
okay, titingnan ko yung text niya. Okay,
Para
okay. I
mga
will
guide
read
lang
that.
nila na makikita
I
lang
will read
nila
that.
diretso din sa may bandang lower part.
Sige, sige,
But
sige.
ikaw, what's your take on that? Do you think I was right on that thing that I wrote there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Ah, kasi halimbawa, dito sa example, may
Mm.
isang tao na nagsabi ng ganito. Okay, si Atty. Trixie halimbawa, siya yung nagsabi na the president upbeat, and
Mm.
he hits the ground running. Tapos meron namang ibang nagsabi yung edad niya, which probably is a person or a website or a
No,
birth
it's a public
certificate.
knowledge. Public knowledge.
Oh, so public knowledge. Now, each one is true. And here is the third statement. Uh, Press Secretary Rose Beatrix Trixie Cruz-Angeles said the 64-year-old Marcos hit the ground running in the first few days of presidency. Okay,
Oh.
makikita mo dyan sa i-post ko li i-post ko li.
I-flash mo
Ah,
dito sa gitna.
yan, yan. Itong part na to, ito sa baba. If you can see my, do you see my mouse? Yan, do you see my mouse?
Oh, yan,
This
yan, yan.
part.
Ah,
Yan, this
yeah.
part.
If you will break that down, okay, you will
Okay.
break that down. Name,
Makikita nyo na
oh, yan.
ang sinasabi ng statement na yan ay hindi yan siya quotation. Hindi yan
Hmm.
siya quotation. So hindi mo siya uh, madaling isipin na si Attorney Trixie ang nagsabi niyan. Except dahil
In
may
fact,
said diyan, said.
oo. Oo.
Okay? So may said diyan na
Oo.
Press Secretary Rose Beatrix Trixie said. So ibig sabihin, siya ang nagsabi
Sen-
niyan. Pero
Oo.
bakit? Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ah.
Ikaw ang magpaliwanag ng tuloy dyan.
Ikaw, paliwanag mo ito eh. Yeah, I want to hear it from you. Kasi
Okay.
different perspective.
This part right here is saying two things at the same time. Okay? And when I say saying, I mean the way it is said, it is being said in two different ways. Okay?
Okay?
First way is by showing that it is not a direct quote.
Okay.
If this is not a direct quote, so you can't exactly blame me for saying this or for your understanding na si Atty. Trixie nga ang nagsabi nito.
Oh.
Kasi hindi naman quote yan eh. Except that you can argue, you can come back and say,
Dyan mo.
in that statement, in that sentence, you said it was Press Secretary Rose Beatrix Cruz-Angeles who said this thing, who said that, and quote begins, 64-year-old Marcos hit the ground running the first few days of his presidency. So you can also argue that it was actually Attorney Trixie who said that the 64-year-old Marcos hit the ground running. So, ganyan ang taktika dyan, na hindi non-committal, yung hindi nagko-commit to one or the other, but leaves it to everyone to decide on how to understand this kind of thing. The problem there is that when it is attributing to a person something that she or he didn't say, and the content of that supposed statement is negative or harmful or shameful, ganyan, tatamaan yung tao kung kanino yan siya naka-attribute. Kawawa naman yung tao. Hindi kawawa, it is unfair for that person, in this case, Attorney Trixie, to be attributed to whom this statement is attributed. Kasi hindi naman siya ang nagsabi niyan talaga.
Okay.
Okay? But then
And
again,
the beautiful, the thing
okay,
is,
go ahead.
that
Go ahead.
those are non-harmful things, right? So making her say that Marcos is 64 years old, nothing wrong there. Making her say that he hit the ground running in the first few days of his presidency. Actually, she did not say that, but pwede na rin.
And that is the
Paraphrase
truth.
mo yung kanyang kabuang statements, which you can actually review if you read no? There is an online very easy to find this. And you will see that she never said these things, but ganito yan. All of these things are truthful, non-harmful kasi hindi ka naman nag-attribute dyan ng lie, di ba? To her. So, you cannot really take this reporter to any tribunal
To
and
anywhere.
say na this is
Oh.
fake news. But what wrong did I say there? Nothing. Okay, so this is the beauty of this, my friends. The beauty
This
here is
tactic.
this tactic. Okay, we're showing this to you not because we are trying to defend Trixie. No, she doesn't need it. We are just showing this to you to show that these things are happening, and it happens in small ways like this, big ways like Harry Roque. You remember? How many times do they have to make clarifications on what the press secretary said on uh, every day, di ba? Napapansin niyo ba yun mga kaibigan na na araw-araw na lang na ginawa ng Diyos. Puro clarification. Pag nagsalita yung presidente somewhere, and then they will publish it, and then Malacanang will react na, hindi yan yung panoorin niyo yung buo. You notice that? Okay,
Okay,
so wala
but
na tayong
let me just tell you that
Hmm.
hindi ito bago, and hindi ito bago in relation to Attorney Trixie.
Hmm.
Noong hindi pa siya press secretary, and
No.
after our case after our case that we handled, itong mga media man na mga tao na to, itong miyembro ng mass media, hindi lahat pero they know who they are, they know how disgusting they are. When they mention Attorney Trixie, they would always say suspended lawyer Trixie Cruz-Angeles. See, even if it is not related to the case that we handle, they will always insert that about her. And we do not understand why they do that. It's not relevant to the news article that they are making or they are reporting, but they insert that. Okay? But if you attack them na hindi naman totoo yan, mali ka kasi totoo naman talaga siya. Pero is that relevant in this statement na when pinatawag kami dun sa Senado to talk about social media, that is their heading in their news. Na parang what the hell? See? So that's what we are talking about. The media, for all the shamelessness of these people, can pretend to protest that we on social media can say anything that we want and we should be stopped. When they also can say anything that they want and they are cruel to people and nobody can stop them. So
Okay,
what the
okay.
hell is that?
Okay. No,
Okay.
ganito yun, no? Showing this thing thing at work. Kasi it's easy to claim that the media is a liar or it makes up stories. This is a clear example how it works. Now, gusto ko lang malaman, what does affair mean? Para hindi ko na-search. Sino tong Do you know what affair means, Attorney Ahmed? Dito si Hannah Sela Watson. About the Queen of Canada. Is there a Queen of Canada? Queen of Romania. Queen of Romania. Ano yun? Queen Romana di... what is this all about? So, can you just clarify what that is all about? Now, let's say
Hold
this
on.
very... Okay.
Sasagutin ko lang to si Anacleta Watson. No, I don't believe
Ah,
in Ophir and from anywhere it is or wherever this woman
ano yung
lives.
ibig sabihin nun?
I don't believe that.
Ano affair?
Okay,
Ano
continue.
yun, attorney? Ano mo na yun? Para lang sa
Babatiin ko
mga...
lang muna yung pinsan ko, si Aya.
Ah,
Aya, di ba kilala mo si Aya? Yung pinsan ko si Bongacious ko yan. Bongacious talaga, no? Mayang gabi, Aya. Dito,
ah,
True Lies,
true,
Aryong,
yun si... Hindi, si
Tatiana,
Truelis
Twinkle.
yan siya eh. Truelis yan siya.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Continue.
Okay, okay. Truelis yan siya, sir, ha? Nandiyan siya si Truelis. Truelis. Okay, anyway. So, we're saying that these things are happening in this very small example, but do you know that it can also have... It may be used in very big ways. Di ba?
Mm.
Mixing up things, hiding things, and then actually we can see this happening right now in North Korea, as they say. Tama ba, mga friends? Tama po ba? Di ba?
Continue.
North Korea is known to hide from its own people the any news from the rest of the world para none of them would even know what we are having right now. They won't have access to this. So they don't know that this exists. Uh, and then they do not know what your phones are. So our latest models of our cars are. So kung lagyan mo sila doon ng 1986 model ng Toyota Corolla and tell them that this is the latest design, they will like that. Tama? In this day and age, we have to be discerning. All right, that's true, no, Cheryl, and that is what we want to awaken among our selves. Actually, kami were also trying to learn more. Why? Uh, we just tried to pursue uh, a hunch na para bang bakit hindi ko to mapagtutugma sa sarili ko? A question like, uh, okay, so ito yung ating basis ng ating analysis sa ating ano, pero bakit parang bumabalik wasto dun sa ating historical knowledge about these things? Like for example, I came from the Catholic Media Network and I see, kami na yung attorney Ahmed, we see kung gaano ka devoted yung mga tao, lalo na sa probinsya, to their faith. And then, galing tayong UP. You look back, parang, hindi lang yun, pati sa high school. I came from a Catholic school, pero yun yung tinuro sa amin na um, nila, nilapastangan tayo ng mga, ano, and then, okay, in my actual actual experience doon sa provincial radio, yung kung saan ako nang galing sa Sorsogon, you will see there how they yearly celebrate. They celebrate yung first mass that happened in a remote barrio in a town near the sea by by Urdaneta with Legazpi. Okay, so if you were castigated by these people, you were tortured, you were enslaved, why are we here in this mountain celebrating the first mass in Luzon every year? So hindi siya napagtutugma, no? And it has been a long, nagging question. And there is really no way of finding out. In fact, I would not blame any of our historians if they had no means to counter check these things, because una, why would you counter check when all of your colleagues say that this is the truth? You were taught in high school that this is the truth. Your colleagues confirm that this is the truth. You will read your college comments, your newest journal, on those things that we have been taught. So, what if that thing we just flashed about Attorney Trixie involved some information that is so damning for her? Di ba? Imagine niyo na lang, palitan natin yung yung impormasyon na nandoon. O sabihin na natin na yung 64 years old, palitan natin ng another true thing na
Son of a dictator.
Convicted
Libel.
tax evader.
Hindi, convicted libel na lang. Accused.
Hindi kunwari ano yung conviction na convicted tax whatever is the
Evader.
sabihin natin ganun. Press Secretary Beatrice said that convicted tax evader Marcos, di ba, those are still all true. And even Marcos wouldn't deny that he had a conviction before. And that is already public knowledge. You see, don't you think, said, saan to nanggaling? Press Secretary Rose Beatrix, totoo to, the son of the, wait. Saan nyo nakita nyo ba yan? Or ikaw ang gumawa? Wait, floor. Because I was really hoping that somebody will also see a similar thing coming from that press conference, because if this is a common thing, then kami ni Attorney Ahmed will lead us there, please. Help us. Totoo to? The son of the Philippines former dictator hit the ground running? Oh my God. Totoo ba yan?
Paano kung that's hypothetical?
Wait.
That's hypothetical.
Is this hypothetical? Paano po?
Yes.
Okay. Kaya nga, precisely, that is the example na sinasabi natin. No? And that is what Attorney Ahmed is saying. And Can you please also check if there are other things that have been published about yesterday, from yesterday, na medyo may connect doon pero hati-hati. Okay, anyway, pwede kasi siyang pinaghati-hati siya na information. So, these things can be used against a person and then she will never be able to recover kung wala siyang kapangyarihang makapagsalita ulit. Let's say, for example, you do this to a private person with no capacity to, alam mo yun, walang clout. Naakusahan mo, typats na yun. Tapos na yung kanyang reputasyon. Like Lusada. What happened to Lusada? Di ba? Does anyone remember Lusada? Lazada ba yung Lusada? Yung sa SEC may 200 ka dito, and then they accused him of so many things, and then they raided his office, and then nothing. Kundi pa siya wala. But in everyone's memory, he was another corrupt person. So, this is how information, public information, or mass communication can be used to, it can be used to uplift our good morning. It can be used to uplift our knowledge, and it can also be used to suppress our perception of things.
Not only that, it can be used to oppress another person.
Of course.
Although not legally actionable, but it is oppressive.
Yes. So, okay. Tama yun, no? So, ganda to si Flor nakasakay siya kaagad. Ako I invented that fact slip na because as I was saying,
yung term na yan,
the term na fact slip, I only invented that, and let's make it a thing, because
pauso natin yan, coinage.
Because obviously the media people also invented that term, fake news, and fact check. I was in the media. Those things never existed before, and they are so comfortable to use that even against people who are just like them, using the same tools as they do, performing the same things that they are doing. Imagine mo yan, parang doktor na tinatawag na yung manggagamot na quack, which is not a similar analogy, di ba? The most ang pinakamalapit na analogy would be pare na tatawagin niya yung imam na peke. Yun ang pinakamalapit. Or imam na tatawagin niya yung kabilang relihiyon na mas magaling siya. Or yung or yung peke yan.
Huwad siya. Huwad siya. Fake
huwad.
Siya na.
Okay. So, if you will compare our social media, okay, this is a young field. Our social media people are just maybe scrambling or learning the ropes. Pero the established ones from the mainstream media, di ba doon din naman sila nagsimula nung panahon na binibitay sila ng mga hari? At sila yung pinagbibintangan ng simbahan na walang karapatang magsalita or magsulat? Tama? And then they do that to people who are doing the same things they do in another platform. Come up with terminologies that are actually applicable to them also. And they know that. They know that there is no such thing as truth na pwede mong isulat 100% sure that that is the truth. And knowing the amount of publication they make every day.
Naalala ko, Japes. Naalala ko nung nasa undergrad tayo, usong-uso yung pagiging aktivista, ganyan. And then, yung mga terms na ginagamit natin like agitprop, petit bourgeois, mga bourgeois, mga politburo, ganyan.
Bourgeoisie.
Sikat na sikat yan. Bourgeoisie. Sikat na sikat yan noon. Okay, and there is one concept called petit bourgeois. Petit bourgeois, P-E-T-I-T, petit. It's a French word meaning small. and bourgeois.
Bourgeois.
Bourgeois
Oh.
yung burgesya, yung the leading the oligarchs, 'di ba? Yung oligarchs, yung bourgeoisie, 'di ba? The oligarchs
No,
that
no.
rule,
The bourgeois
the
is
ruling
the
class, ruling class, the ruling
mm,
class, that is the bourgeois, 'di ba? So it's the oligarchs that virtually or actually rules a country. So ngayon, ang petit bourgeois, ayun yung mga miyembro ng proletariat. Okay? Ang proletariat, ito yung taong bayan, the masses. Ang petit
okay.
bourgeois ay insulto yan kapag tinawag mo ang kapwa mo masa ng petit bourgeois. Kasi parang sinabihan mo siya na maliit kang burgis. In other words,
Oh,
papanggap ka na oligarch ka, pero hindi naman. Okay.
okay.
So, yung taong petit bourgeois, ayun yung taong kasama mo na naman sana sa isang struggle, but in another struggle, sila yung nag-ahari-harian like the enemy, like our common enemy in that other struggle.
Okay.
Okay? Yan yun.
Tony, do you remember our hard to read material kagabi about the
Hmm.
Ilustrados? The
Yes.
Ilustrados? What
Yes.
did they say about the Ilustrados? Na kung umasal para kayong mga puti.
Petit bourgeois. Oo.
That was exactly what you're saying.
Exactly.
Oh, the
That is
Katipuneros
exactly.
were. Oh,
Let's remember this concept petit bourgeois because
mm,
it comes from the books of the communists. This
mm,
is it's not a coinage because before Marx wrote it ng kanyang mga libro ay meron ng ganito. Meron ng ganitong konsepto na parang tipong langaw na naka
tungtong
ano sa
sa.
likod ng kalabaw
Oh,
or something like that. Yeah.
oh,
So that is petit bourgeois. Itong naghahari-harian sa atin dito ngayon sa social media na dati kasama naman natin nung pinaglalaban natin ng kalayaan ng media o ng
mm,
press, pagdating dito sa social media, sila na ang naghahari-harian. They are now the petit bourgeois.
okay. In fact, they're undermining the credibility of people who are using these platforms that are not from their rights. Kumbaga parang ang
Yeah.
may truthfulness about things are those are you are only our colleagues, the card carrying members of our profession. All right. So now this caging of information, freedom of flow of ideas, yung ating freedom to learn. Di ba yun yung mga konseptong tinuro sa atin kung bakit nandiyan yung ating mga institutions, nandiyan yung ating mga schools with academic freedom. Meron tayong press with uh, freedom of the press that are not censored by government. Meron tayong freedom of speech. Meron tayong access to information. So, bakit may konsepto ng mga ganito na, okay, unless you're really saying something that is absolutely false, as we said in the beginning, katulad ka, okay, na new Philippine President Marcos Jr. praises dictator father. Grabe, di ba? Oh, those things. Loading up, right now, they are still not harmful. Okay? But when does this
Mm,
become harmful? Yun yung ating
exactly.
gustong pag-usapan.
At saka it is you cannot attack it
Within
as
the
a false because
hmm,
this statement is composed of individually verifiable true
truths.
things. Oh,
Oh,
they are individually verifiable true things. But
oo.
when together they are put in a statement by a shameless person, it will oppress someone else.
Yeah, okay, so
Mm.
now you're getting at the drift. Are we clear on that point? So has this been used to us in a grand scale? That is the question.
Oh yes. Oh
Okay,
yes, yes,
so
yes. You.
una muna, before us, has this been used in a grand manner by people against whole nations? What do you think? Do you know of any historical truths that will show us examples na lies are made in such a manner na whole countries are enslaved.
Basahin mo,
Are
basahin mo,
those,
basahin mo.
okay, sabi, Attorney Gadon recently informed, ano yun, ayun, magsisend daw siya ng letter of request sa NTC to shut down Rappler's webpage. He's barking at the wrong dog.
Oo nga.
Totoo
It's
ba
not
yan?
the NTC.
Oh, I don't think Attorney Larry Gadon will do that. He knows that
Oh.
the NTC has no power to shut down a webpage. Why
Oh,
would,
hindi. Dati kasi, ano na ngayon, di ba? Ano ba to? Anong
GICT?
agency yan ngayon?
You probably
DICT.
go to the
DICT.
GICT.
Oh, ang
Uh,
DICT is still under the DOTR ba? Or the
no,
NTC? I think
no,
they are part
it's
of the
now a
same
department.
agency.
It's now a
Mm.
department.
Yeah, now it is a department. Mm.
Okay, pero saan mo ito nakuha? We'd like to know that. The
Karen,
source
saan mo
kasi.
nakuha yan?
Yes, yes. Hindi sa kino-question kita, ang ano is we want to know where who was spreading this information. Okay, now, ang klaro ng sinabi ni AFP. Ano yun? Ano yung sinabi ni AFP? Si Luz.
AGP
Meron ba siya
siguro.
sa before? Okay, good. Because I was asking if it's clear. Okay. Now, this is the unfinished research which we are sharing with you every now and then. Actually, we have no clear answer about our history. This is what we want to clarify ourselves. Actually, myself. And si Attorney Ahmed, we are sounding boards kami niyan eh. So, he finds out things. And kumbaga nagbabanggaan yung aming mga ano. And wala. Once you start breaking down something from a complete set of facts, and then, meron palang mali dito Di ba? Like, yun, yung pinost mo ba yung kanina yung propaganda ng word, Attorney Ahmed?
Pinost ko.
Did you
Ikaw,
post that?
ikaw yung nagsabi nun.
Yes,
Teka.
I've been saying that.
Teka,
But you
I will
share it with them.
I will put it up. I will put it up.
You put
Hold
it
on.
up. And this one, we're not really saying that it is impossible, but what we are trying to say here is, it invites question. No? Itong ano na to. All of you, Filipinos, tayong lahat, no? Nag-aral, kahit na hanggang high school, alam natin to. Na yung ating mga bayani na nasa La Liga, Filipina, hindi nga natin alam kung sino-sino yung mga combinations ng mga bayani natin, di ba? Naalala nyo ba yan? Kung sino yung mga magkakampi dyan, magkaaway, or alam nyo ba, magkakaibigan din sila lahat. Sa SMNI, sa interview with Andanar. Oh, okay. Thank you, Karen. So, were they supportive of this? Pero ang sa akin, you don't need to go to MTC for that. I don't think it's a proper venue, but if it is, then well and good.
I think ang NTC yung I'm not so sure. I will look it up.
Yeah,
Yung
I'm really not.
recently. Yung recently yung blinak yung mga websites.
Yes, they can block
because,
it because they have control over the telcos. So they can tell the telcos that the access to this traffic, ilagyan mo ng filter, okay? They have that regulatory power.
baka yan yung tinutukoy niya,
Okay.
Yan yata yung tinutukoy niya,
So
yan ang
they're not
tinutukoy yata.
shutting it down. They will just make it
hard to reach.
by Filipino. Okay. So
I'm saying that it's not accessible. I'm just saying it's hard to access because you need to use a VPN whatever to access it, to make it appear like you're accessing it outside of the country.
Yes. So Karen, now we understand. Yun yung maganda, di ba? You bring up an information, it seems like it's impossible, and then you will realize it's possible. So that is a truthful information kasi it links to logic. Tama ba ako, Tony?
Yeah.
No? Something that appears to be false, as long as it links to logic, you can actually make something out of it.
You can verify it independently.
Kaya nga.
So yung independently verifiable truth. Di ba?
Kaya nga, so, ganito yan ha. We first thought it was wrong because it was practically susceptible to be misinterpreted na si attorney ganun ay magpapail ng kaso sa NTC na
Yeah.
ipapashutdown niya yung website. We know that that is not possible. But now, after a few, what can the NTC do? The NTC can actually do this. Ganyan kami nato ni Ahmed. So, kapag ang isang, kahit na mali, itugma mo siya sa reality, pwedeng ganito.
Pwede.
Then it can easily, alam mo yun, take shape
Di ba?
in your mind.
Ang hirap tawagin ang hirap
Paano mo
i-explain.
i-express, ha?
Para
So
sa
this
akin
is-
kasi, it is justifying to yourself why you actually believe something. And why do you have to justify it to yourself? Because we are critical thinkers. We are critical, intelligent people here in Luminous. And
Hindi lang yun.
we
Kayo
only
din.
believe in things, hindi lang kami, tayong lahat. Tayong
Oh.
lahat ng nandito sa Luminous. We have to understand that the things that we believe in are not only justifiable in themselves but also
Logical.
justifiable to us. Na may
Oo.
explain natin bakit tayo naniniwala dito. And that
Now,
to me is enough na
Yeah.
na kahit na walang independent arbiter na magsasabing si Ahmed ang tama dyan, si JP ang tama dyan, basta sa akin na justify ko itong belief ko na to, kahit hindi maniwala si Angkol JP sa akin, okay lang. Okay lang din na hindi siya maniwala sa
Kasi
akin.
makakatulog ka ng maayos na hindi siya babalik-balik sa utak mo na paano ba yung naging tama, di ba? Like, even without verifying that information which was just presented to us na apparently parang mukhang mali, dahil kaya mo siyang i-justify, okay, pwede mo siya ngayon tanggapin. Now, what if it is a truth na hindi mo talaga siya kayang justify? When you begin with that, yun ang pinakamahirap. When something that you ask your seatmate, you ask your father, you ask your brother, you ask your mother, they will tell you the same things. So where do you now begin to understand something that doesn't make sense? Kayo dyan, you know that when you go to church, you know you feel God, you know that this is a holy place. And how do you justify a belief that that same church has been the instrument of great evil?
Yes.
Can you sleep with that?
Exactly.
Maybe some
Yun yung maganda.
some
Yun
will
yung
just
maganda.
not will just alam mo yun, some will not even be able to shock na lang parang toing, di ba? Wala na. So they will either
Trivia.
faith,
Si trivia. Si Adolf Hitler was, I think, very devout Catholic. I think.
and
He
the
was
son
looking
of
for
Caesar.
he was he was looking for the cross after Saint Helena was looking for the cross, and he was looking for
Spear of
the
Longinus.
spear of Longinus, yung spear na ginamit na tinusok dito sa dibdib ng ni Jesus Christ. And he really believed in those things, and he killed all those Jews as well.
Can you
Does
justify
that
that?
bother you?
Ako, it does
Doesn't that
not.
bother you?
Ako, it does not bother me because I can justify it to myself.
Yeah,
Exactly. But we will not talk about Adolf Hitler.
we will not.
But yan, about the truth of Holocaust. Dami. Now, yung ating, yung hinahanda mo dun about
Ito na,
our
ginagawa ko.
great La
Yung post
Liga
natin kanina.
Philippines.
Ano yan? Ano yung sinabi mo?
Yung sila La Liga Philippines, sila Jose Rizal, what do they call themselves? Sige, trivia.
Isi-save
Anong
ko na to.
pangalan? Kayo po, mga nakikinig sa atin, how do you recall yung pangalan? Naranasan kong mananipulaan ng mga dilawan. Okay. Which will actually lead to that, no? Kasi, para ba kasing pag nilagyan natin ng susi yung ating kasaysayan, no? Like, yung kanilang term na historical revisionism, no? When we think that that is acceptably, ano yun, but bluish, maybe, pick it again, bluish siya.
Ay, hindi pala ito yun. Yung propaganda. Sige lang, ito rin okay
Oh,
din naman to eh.
ano sabi mo
Okay,
dyan?
okay din to.
Sige, sige, go, go, go.
Basahin, basahin mo muna.
Ikaw,
Hanapin ko muna
ikaw,
yung
ikaw,
kanina.
ikaw, ikaw. Here
Okay,
is another
okay.
example. Okay, okay,
Mm.
you can read it, no? Guys, you can read.
Basahin nyo.
False about Hitler, British book. Hindi ba siya, no? Catholic? Uy, tutulog ka na. Alright.
Ako, hindi pa. Nandito pa
Yeah.
ako.
Hindi. Si
Okay, go ahead, go
Bonggacious
ahead.
lang, ano? Si Bonggacious. Alright.
Matutulog ka na, Gaw?
Acknowledgement that you are processing information according to your own lens. Okay. Yes, because we should be given our own kumbaga, training sa eskwelahan, gano'n na ma-process natin yung mga bagay-bagay. And if you were here the other night, we talked about mind mapping, di ba? Read niyo yung Mein Kampf, okay? Ano ba sabi ni Mein Kampf? Hindi siya approved sa religion. Okay, okay. So wala pala siyang religion, but maybe he was
Ano lang siya? May, ano lang siya, parang, ano ba
collector.
tawag niya?
Collector.
Lang siya.
Connoisseur.
Pero kung
Connoisseur.
titingnan mo kung kailan niya sinulat yung Mein Kampf, he was, I think, a rejected artist at that point. Pero wala pa
Hmm.
siya sa politika. Wala pa siya sa politika. Parang na bad trip lang talaga siya sa
Teka.
mundo life.
Teka, si ano ba to? Si ano ba to? Si Japan? Si ano?
Oh,
Aya?
si Japan. Oh,
Hi,
si,
Aya.
yan, siya yan.
Hi, Aya. Mushe. Okay.
Mushi.
Asan na yung ating material?
And ito pa, hinahanap ko pa na wala sa post sa wall natin eh. Wala ba sa'yo yun?
Dinilit mo siguro. Ikaw nagsulat nun eh.
Hindi ako
Anyway.
nagdidilig. Sige, tuloy ka lang muna
Okay.
dyan. Hinahanap
Anyway.
ko pa.
Did you post it actually?
I did.
Okay.
Baka bobo
So,
lang itong aking computer. Sige, go.
looking back again to our very perfect history na nagsisimula with an unknown prehistory. Di ba? Our history starts with claim that the prehistory or the pre-written history is unknown. And the only thing that we know about it ay yung mga aliping sa dikilid, ganun-ganon, merong Bathala, there was Babaylan, and then there are mga dato, and then there was trade, there was barter trade, and then there was no money, which actually becomes disputed when they unearthed in 1970 gold from Butuan that are precious money. Tama ba yung ano ba yung mga nandiyan dyan sa yung nahukay sa Butuan? Okay?
Yung bangka, yung balangay.
Ano to negationism? Ano yung negationism?
Oh, ipaliwanag mo nga sa amin ano yung negationism.
Negation?
Negationism. Kasi sina Maria Ressa, I think once in a press parang PR press release na ito daw gustong pag-correct sa ating history ay tinatawag daw historical revisionism. At mali daw to. This is daw how did she call it? Basta isa siya sa mga nagpapaniwala ng ganyan at nag-convince sa mga tao na anything that you do to what is already a written history is revisionism, and with the understanding that it is something that is very wrong or academically dishonest ang dating ng kanilang pagkakasabi niyan. And para sa amin, para sa akin and to everyone, that is false. That's unang-una, that statement is false. And that innuendo, that
Concept.
implication na it is wrong is
To
also
revise.
false.
Oo.
Oh, because history is a product of revision and post-revision and post-revision and until nobody is here anymore on earth at patay na tayong lahat na wala na
Mm.
magre-revise dyan.
Mm.
So that is being done. How come there is a negative implication on revisionism? Okay, but what is
Mm.
wrong about revisionism is negationism. Negationism um, is negating what is written, what is already written as history. For example,
Mhm.
you deny the Holocaust. Okay, you
Mhm.
negate it. It does not exist. It didn't happen. Okay, when facts would tell you that it did.
Mm.
Okay, so you deny things that is in written history, and you try
Mm.
to change that written history into your statements. You insert your own statements of denial as part of written history, and that kind of revisionism is completely wrong.
Okay. Application. Application. Meron ba tayong maibigay na application sa ganyang statement, attorney, na
Marami sa
ano, hindi,
US.
yung example na sa atin that we can actually
Dito sa Pilipinas,
relate to.
well, yung kay Zaide, for example, ay di pala kay Zaide. Yung kay
Otley Bear?
yung kay Otley Bear, yes.
Oh. How long did
Di
it
ba?
take Hocano to break that down? Si
About two
Felipe Hocano
decades.
si
Senior,
Felipe
senior,
Hocano,
senior.
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 Yung naging teacher ko yung anak, no?
Anak
So,
anak din teacher ko.
di ba? And hindi niya
Gusto ko siyang
masyadong
makausap
type yung
dito sa live natin.
hindi
Gusto ko
niya
makausap.
masyadong,
Friend ko yun eh.
friend mo yun?
Oh,
That
si yung
guy
anak, yung
is
anak.
one, I was so inspired to read about his father's work, not because of it. Because of, sa totoo lang, anak to, pero hindi niya pinopromote yung tatay niya, but when I read about his tatay's work, hindi ko na
I
siya
found it.
pumasok.
I found the post. Sige, tuloy lang, tuloy lang.
Yeah, okay. Play it. Put it now. So, okay,
ano ko
example,
pa rin. Sige.
alam niyo ba
Go.
yung kay Hocano at saka kay Bayer?
Otley Bear.
Who knows about these things? Okay, we were taught in history that there were waves of migration. That there were negritos na pushback sa mga bundok when the Malays came, and then probably in between there was a Malay A, Malay B, and then there were Indonesians.
Yes.
Okay, that is
Anyway,
that is based on their observation of the physical characteristics of the people in the Philippines when the Americans arrived, who were basically unchanged because the Spaniards locked this place up. Did you know that this place was locked up or hidden from the rest of the world? Did you realize na
saan?
ganun pa? No, na itong Pilipinas was practically hidden from the rest of the world during the Spanish times.
Ganun ba?
Oh,
Okay, tell me about it.
okay. No, we were actually Spain prohibited other countries from even entering our shores, or yung mga napapayagang makipag-trade sa Manila, dapat pag pasok mo sa Manila, labas ka kagad, hindi ka pwedeng pagalagala dyan sa mga isla dyan sa Visayas. So the Philippines was actually off limits to the rest of the world by order of the king. All right? So attorney, i-post mo muna yun sa'yo.
Sandali, kasi ikalan ko pang i-transform
Okay.
into PDF eh.
Anyway, so saan ba tayo dun sa ano na yun, topic 10? Merong nagsalita nun eh.
Kay Bear muna, kay
negationism.
Otley Bear.
Okay,
Ikwento
so
mo
si
muna
Otley
kung ano
Bear,
kay Otley Bear. Oh.
So si Otley Bear followed through the American observation about the migration of people based on physical characteristics. Pero hindi siya ang original niyan actually. Even yung mga kaibigan ni Rizal, who's that guy? Blumentritt also has a book about that. Okay? Kasi sila, lahat nakikita nila, itong lugar na to, mga negro yan sila. Paano nagkaroon ng negro dito na, oh, tingnan mo, dagat. Tapos, di ba dapat yun doon sila sa Africa? They were very well-traveled people. Okay? Now, that seemingly plausible uh, theory
Story. Mm.
was actually proven by a great professor na Pilipino in UP na si Felipe Hocano, Senior, na pinakita niya na hindi, yung tao dito sa Pilipinas, at hindi lang sa Pilipinas, itong buong area ng ano, they belong to the same race. And this is called the Austronesian theory noon. I don't know if it has already evolved. Attorney Ahmed. I don't know what's the latest. No.
Si Attorney Trixie ang magaling dyan dahil
Yes, Attorney Trixie is actually a
yan eh.
very, very an expert on that. In other words,
Archaeologist yan eh.
there were no waves of migration. Okay? So, this great guy came up with this scientifically based, hindi yung galing sa sukat-sukat ng ilong, na findings based on genetics, based on fossil findings, mas modern yung technique.
Ayan o.
Mm.
Yung
Yeah.
palakihan
So,
mo.
okay. Ito yung tanong. How long did it take him to break down Otley Bayer's theory? Alam niyo ba na hanggang ngayon tinuturo pa rin sa high school yan?
Oo,
theory
yung
ni Bayer?
three waves. Oo.
Side by side with Hocano's theory. And making
Oh.
our people, making our
Confused.
children just, no, making them choose what you like to choose. Come on,
Kaya nga.
di ba? Oh, I feel like they, kabilang parlor, have no one to revise. Okay. The theory, the history kasi that was made up for us may have been convenient to a certain group who made that. So, I am still in that path of firming up my kumbaga hypothesis na nasusupport naman with basis, pero hindi ko to ipa-finalize ng aking hypothesis as a conclusion hanggat hindi ko mabasa yung mismong ginawa nitong biniblame ng iilang mga scholars for
Tingnan
this.
mo yung nakapost.
Okay,
Tingnan
tingnan
mo
nyo to.
yung nakapost.
Imo na lang? Imo lang? I feel
Hindi,
like,
hindi. Ito.
Okay.
Itong.
Okay.
Mamaya na si Laura. Mamaya na si Laura.
According to well-known writers, the word propaganda was first ever used in political parlance, the lexicon, by Vladimir Ilyich Lenin in 1902. Before then, the word propaganda was exclusively used or coined by the Catholic
Ang
Church.
ganda ni Isabella. Good night, good night.
Who is Isabella?
Ayan o.
Oh! Hey,
Good
Isabella. Mag-stars ka muna. Okay, anyway.
Apektado
Bakit ito ano? Watching from Scotland. Uy, oh,
Apektado,
Nancy. Alright. So, here. Okay. Does this make sense to you? You check this out with any website na kahit na mediocre lang yung credibility, like Britannica lang naman. Encyclopedia na yun, di ba? Dati, yung high school tayo, pag may Britannica ka, 1 set, 2 set, sa inyong bahay, wala, matalino ka. Sinong lumaki sa Britannica? Ako, New World Encyclopedia.
Yes.
New World Encyclopedia at saka Britannica, yun yung magkaway.
Ako, Wikipedia na lang ako talaga.
Ngayon, just look up the word propaganda and when was it used. And they will all tell you that it was coined by the Catholic Church. Well, I will add to that, there was another industry which used it. In between Vladimir Ilyich Lenin and the Catholic Church, and it was in the late 1870s. It was used by the science of agriculture, the propagation of plants. Okay. So there was another industry which used it. So if you
Marketing.
Okay, so if you have a term, propaganda, used for propagation of the Catholic faith, and then recently used by scientists to mean the propagation of certain plants, how smart are you to come up with a original idea na I will use this to propagate a political thought? political encyclopedia. Political encyclopedia, nabasa ko sa encyclopedia ni Nancy.
Political name, line.
Political thinking.
Oh.
Sige nga, how brilliant will you need to be to come up with an idea na, gawin ko kayang word to about politics. Like, okay, let's imagine something. Let's say, for example, the word, ano yung ginamit natin kanina? Mahal na Diyos, no? Mahal na Diyos. Let's say, for example,
Ang maganda, chika, yung HNBP.
BP.
Pero mamaya na yan.
Mamaya na yun. So, okay. Ano ba tinatamaan nito mga friends? Alam niyo ba kung ano? If all our encyclopedia will tell us that it was Lenin who used this for political reasons in when? 1902. Then how come our history books will tell us that in 1890 something, our heroes organized themselves as the propaganda movement? Come on, think. Come on, think. Propaganda movement, sila Rizal daw, sila, sino ba yun siya? Marcelo del Pilar. They were
Plaridel.
Propaganda movement in 1890s. When at that time, the word propaganda did not have any meaning in politics. Okay.
Good night na daw,
Don't
sabi ni Isabella.
Good night na, Truelis? Sino si Isabella?
Nagpasalamat siya sa'yo dahil sinabihan mo siya maganda.
Isabella, thank you.
Nandiyan.
See you again tomorrow. Reply mo na lang. Alright? So, propaganda. Walang saysay. Gusto nyo yung encomienda? Who has heard of encomienda? Isa-isahin ba natin yung lahat ng konseptong tinuro sa atin? Because that is what I really plan to do.
Pacto de retroventa.
Yan. Pacto de propaganda fide propaganda. Yan. Right? That is the first time propaganda was used publicly. The propaganda fide. Alam niyo ba kung sino yung head niyan? Yung cardinal na di ba sino Cardinal Tagle? Yung tinatanong mo, Sir Ed. Yan yung kanyang posisyon. He is now the head of that unit, the propaganda fide.
Ngayon. Si Tagle, yan.
Yes. Okay. Let's say, for example, okay, you're so brilliant and you thought of using this, which was exclusively used by the church. Because of that, propagation of the faith means missionary work. Okay? And you hate their missionaries, di ba? Yun nga yung gusto mong patayin eh. Di ba? Yun nga yung dahilan ng inyong revolusyon. Tapos gagawin yung tawag sa sarili nyo, mga propagandista. Oh, come on.
Diba?
Parang ganito na yan. Ganito. Yung
anong punto niyan? Anong punto?
Anong
diba?
punto?
Anong punto ba? What is puzzling about this? Di ba? Na tinawag nila ang sarili nila na propaganda movement at a time when the word propaganda has never been used in the political sense.
In the realm of politics.
Or in any other place.
Okay.
Diba? In kailan yun ginamit yun sa plants?
1870s.
1870s.
Pero
sa plants yun.
Plants. In science. Okay?
In science.
But not only that. Ganito. Purely Catholic word at the time. Let's say, for example, yung word na pare. Pare. Wala namang ibang gumagamit niyan. Say, for example, galit kami sa mga pare. Tapos ang tatawagin namin sa aming mga leader sa aming grupo ay mga pare.
Mga mababait na pare.
Ang aming pinaglalaban ay bagsak yung mga pare. Pero ikatawag namin nung mag-organize kami, pare, tawag natin sa sarili natin, ha? Don't you think that's funny? Good evening, Annie. Don't you think that is so weird? Sino yung taga-California? Western Australia, okay. Yung nasa California, are you near any state library? Please tell us. Mo kami. So, ganito. Let's say, for example, si Iglesia ni Cristo o galit yan sa Katoliko. Nagawa ba sila ng mga posisyon na nakabase sa Katoliko? Wala. Tama. Pwede
Hmm.
nyo i-turn off ang subtitles sa screen nyo mismo. Sino yun? Sino ba naka-subtitle? Oh, turn eh. So, ito is being used in our own history, presented as if it is part of reality in the 1890s. So, when was this probably written? Okay, when do you think this concept that our heroes were actually calling themselves the propaganda movement? Probably when they were all dead. Tama? Probably at a time when the word propaganda was spread worldwide as a word that meant propaganda as we know it now. And who invented that word? See?
Does
Again,
it mean that they were involved in spreading the faith of Catholicism, or was it
no.
or did they mean that they were spreading the science of marketing
Or
and
did it mean that they were,
propagation, di ba?
ano ba yung meaning pala ni ano ni Lenin? What did Lenin say? This is meaning.
Sige, hanapin ko
Oh,
muna.
okay. So, I was replying dun sa isang commentary. Okay, yeah. So now, this indicator na ano yung nauna natin kanina about the okay, so ito church to, di ba? At ang sabi nila, ang pinaglalaban nila ay pabagsakin yung simbahan, palis yung mga praile, kasi mga abusado. And I was asking Atty. Ahmed, whoever sa inyo nandito kahapon na sa intro, na kung ikaw ba may problema sa isang bansa, makakapag-isip ka ba na magtayo ng sariling bansa? And we already found that hard to answer. But actually, there is an example na pertaining to our Katipuneros. Okay? They had, if they really had any part of their revolution against the church, would they make a church themselves? And yes, they did. And what kind of church? Okay, trivia. Sige. Sige. Sino nakakalam? Anong simbahan ang tinayo ng mga Katipunero? Oh, who was the first to call it the propaganda movement? Sila nga daw eh. They call themselves the propaganda movement. Sila daw nagbansag yan sa sarili nila. Kahit na tumingin ka about the Philippine Revolution, also in, dyan sa Wikipedia, I don't know about Britannica, they will use that. They call themselves the propaganda movement. Look it up in the Wikipedia kasi yan. Aglipay, okay, Aglipay. Ano ang forma ng misa ng Aglipay? Okay, what is their form of mass? Again? Yes, and the original name is of Aglipay is Iglesia Filipina Independiente or the Philippine Independent Church. At sino yung si Aglipay? Si Aglipay is a priest, Padre Aglipay. He was joined by other priests. They were all priests. Na, yun, kasama dun sa mga, sino yung mga, yung mga secularists na sinasabi natin, Trixie. Gusto nilang Oh, so if they really hate the Catholic Church, Pinoy paparazzi, why would they make their entire new church exactly the same as the old church that they hate? Tan, like Catholic po. Oo nga. In fact, I have a brother, si Nilo Tayag. You may know him. He's a bishop there. I'm not saying they're a fake church, okay? I respect them. I have a friend in a Aglipay church. But to tell me that the Katipuneros who endorsed this, or they were really with the Katipunan, it's the reason why they seceded from them because they were going to be the church of the new government. So, doesn't this all coincide? Ito, the propaganda movement and what we talked about yesterday. What did we talk about yesterday? Yung last, about the, yung last, yung ating, ah, yung brown na papel, binasa nyo ba yon or na-download nyo ba yon nung kahapon, yung nilagay natin link, attorney? Si Lucifer ang nasa likod niyan. Lahat ng matino kaya niya gayahin. Pero masama lang ang kahin kahinatnan. Ang matino hindi mababago. Ano ba to? Di. Si Lucifer, angat buhay, angat Pinas. Okay, paano tayo angat sa buhay kung hindi natin alam yung ating kasaysayan? At paano ba ito makaka-relate sa ating ano? Maybe that's what we need to discuss, no? Attorney, no? Yung potential na usage kung mag, if we create enough evidence that there is a need to revisit. Okay, una, so the propaganda movement is already suspicious. We're not saying this is the absolute proof, but it becomes suspicious because even our international experts will tell us that this was the first time it was used in that sense for politics. And not only is that suspicious, because if you are against a church and then you will use their term, parang lalo na suspicious. Lalo pang suspicious kung you actually made a church against the church and made it exactly the same. Gregorio Aglipay, yes. And Isabelo dos Reyes. Alright. Now, mix this up with uh, our material yesterday, which was the brown thing. It was a commentary pala against the task findings. I do not know who the writer was, but it seems like this was an American who was making uh, direct attack on the findings made by Taft. And he was saying there that these are the points na hindi to prove that that uh, document by Taft, which made it a finding of the Philippine Commission na yung mga praile ay mga inkomyentero, mga yun, yung lahat ng ating inaakusa sa kanila, yan pala lahat ay findings ng Taft Commission. Why don't we review that, attorney? Ikaw naman ang eksperto sa batas, kaya lang mga ganun na nakakapal yun, yung mga findings. Pero, yun, tinira niya yung quality of witnesses, tinira niya na the, the Archbishop was never even allowed to talk in the entire trial. And ang ending niyan ay kinuha nila yung mga lupa ng mga pare. And uh, they bought the friar lands. Ilan ba yung nakita namin? Mga 400,000 hectares all in all? Okay? So, okay. They destroyed the church by that decision. Pero there is one critical item there. And dinownload mo ba yun, attorney? Yung brown, yung pinaka-last, yung from the Philippine Commission. Did you get that? Yung sa ano, the Taft Commission thing.
Ano yan? Ano yan?
Yung last natin na material kagabi, yung pinost natin, yung
Hindi ko na-save yun eh. Galing yun
hindi
sa
mo
website
na-save.
eh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, in that material, if you will, okay. Ikaw muna natin eh. I-ano ko lang. I just get it. I know I have it here. Okay.
Ito. Tignan mo to.
Right. What does it say?
Ano ito? Tawag dito? Anong tawag dito?
Ano yun?
Textbook yan, textbook.
Alright. Ano daw? Naging ina ng demokrasya si Cory Aquino nang magbuwis ng buhay. Sino yun? Ano to? Is this an exam question or this is a statement? The hell?
Ha?
Outline to outline?
No, that is a
Yeah.
textbook.
Yes, yes.
Part
Because,
of the textbook.
yeah, ito ano to, learning, yan yung part na learning, learning objectives. Kumbaga, outline ng section na yan. Alamin.
Oh.
Or learning
So,
ano to.
may nakakaalam kung saan galing yan? Hindi ko alam eh. Ano, libro ba yan? Textbook ba yan ng high school?
Looks like.
Di
Malamang
ba?
elementary with the font. Elementary
Grade
and
school.
grade 4, more or less.
Hmm.
I would know. Yung mga ganyang kalaking sulat, mga grade
Propaganda
4.
din ba yan? Propaganda
Ha?
din ba yan? Propaganda din yan?
Yun. Teka, but those are all falsehoods eh.
Ha?
Is that, okay, wait. Mga bayani ng lahi, tunay na modelo. Okay, fine. Sino tong isa? Ito yung gusto ko. Si Nino ito. Si Cory yan. And then si Dr. Jose Rizal, kilala sa
Tingnan mo
buong
yung
mundo.
heading. Tingnan mo yung heading, mga bayaning Pilipino. Hmm.
Okay.
Mga bayaning Pilipino kasama si Ninoy at si Cory dyan. Kailan nangyari yan?
Naging ina
Diba?
ng demokrasya?
Ha?
Kailan nangyari na maging ina siya ng demokrasya?
Paano nangyari na hero sila? Kasi ito sina Dr. Jose Rizal, naging hero yan by declaration of the National Historical Council. Yung ngayon National Historical Commission. Na ngayon ay yun nga, yung historical na part na siya ng NCCA ngayon. So pati yan si Mabini, ganun din. Si Bonifacio, tingnan nyo, wala na si Bonifacio dyan.
Where was Bonifacio? Our subject matter the other night.
Ba't wala na yan siya dyan?
Mahirap yun, di ba? Mahirap mag-judge kasi baka ito nga yung, alam mo yun, yung mga summary sa likod. But that is the reinforcement part, ha? Pag nag-aral kayo, di ba? May mga anak kayo dyan, makikita nyo, may mga text dyan before. And then, this is what you need to remember from this whole section. Tama? Tama ba yung format niyan? Ito yung learning part eh. Alamin. Ayan, paunla rin. Tama, dulo nga to. Ano yung nakalagay sa baba? Basahin mo doon eh. Lagyan ng kahulugan ang salitang bayani. Ito. Basahin ang nalawan sa baba. Ano daw yung gusto ko makita yung relationship. But anyway, sabi ni Attorney Trixie, we were fighting for secularization. Tama? And we were already there, and we agree with her that fight has been a long-drawn fight, not here in the Philippines, not just here in the Philippines, but it was actually a Spanish issue. Right? Sino ba yung mga nandito sa ating kagabi? And you will remember that was our topic last night na yung unang pinaliwanag sa atin na parang ajit yung mga Pinoy na ibigay yung pamumuno, pamamahala ng simbahan sa kanila, parang tayo nakaisip nun, hindi po. Yan po ang dahilan kung bakit ang buong Espanya ay nagkagulo nung buong siglo ng 1800, and that was our topic yesterday. And yung last natin na material kahapon will tell us at will show us a number in the first part which says that there were about 1,600 or 1,800. So nagkagulo pa sa number, but there are around almost 2,000 foreign frailes in the Philippines, serving about 7 million Catholics. Tama? Yun yung kanya lang sinasabi dun sa simula, na sinasabi nila na how could these people be leveled as mga atrocious yun, yung buong description sa kanila. But there is one thing there that was not pointed out. There were only 150 Filipino priests at the time. So, if you're only 150 over 2,000 frailes, you would even dare say na ibigay niyo sa amin yung pamumuno ng mga lahat ng simbahan dito sa Pilipinas. 7,107 islands. Kulang pa nga kayo eh. Come on, come on. Di ba? Would you even dare ask our uh, benevolent priles na sila yung nagpaaral sa atin, nagturo sa atin about our religion, sila yung nagturo sa atin sa seminaryo, paalisin mo dahil or it was an issue ng secularization which we also adhered to here because it was uso sa Espanya, but they were not really there to kick out all the priests. Tama ba yun, attorney? Can you imagine that number? Well, I will find the material para meron tayong source, no? Mahirap kasi sabihin, sabi na yung JP. Attorney, take over mo muna.
Hindi,
Uh,
sandali.
hmm.
Oh, ano ba yung
Hindi, ano
inaano
mo
mo?
lang, bubuksan ko lang yung material para hindi galing sa akin na nagsasalita lang ako.
Okay. Sige.
Ah,
Okay,
proof
sige,
ba?
sige.
Proof. Kasi mahirap itong mga bagay na to. Well, we are trying to show na our friends na there's something wrong with this argument and then wala naman tayong pruweba. We'll just open it, okay? Go ahead.
Oh, ito,
Hmm.
halimbawa.
Hmm.
Ay, wag yan, wag yan. Well, yun nga.
Mhm.
Itong mga ganitong estilo ay propaganda. Actually, this is basically propaganda. Okay,
Mhm.
by modern understanding of the word propaganda, everything that you do to highlight or even exaggerate uh, the 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 positive characteristics of a belief or an ideology or a political platform is propaganda. And the word propaganda is not necessarily wrong or bad or negative. Okay, as we have seen sa simbahang Katoliko nang galing yung unang-unang gamit ng word na propaganda. Okay, but the activities that we would now understand would comprise of what is propaganda activities have already been done even before. Noon sa panahon ni Aristotle, the classical Greeks, meron silang tinatawag na mga rhetoricians. Those people who are engaged in rhetoric na halos araw-araw minumura ni Socrates. Kasi um, they try to convince people of their points, of their beliefs, of their philosophy by means of speech, yung using tricks and tactics in the use of words or the use of combinations of words or the use of implications of words to convey what they want to the people and for the people to believe in. So it is being said that while now we know that the color orange is orange because of the light spectrum and that this thing that reflects the orange spectrum of the light spectrum is would come out to us to our eyes as orange. So in other words, according to science, an orange yung fruit is orange to us. We call it orange because it is of the color orange, and it is only orange to, and it is orange because it does not need the orange spectrum or the orange part of the light spectrum. And that's why it reflects the orange part of that light. So in other words, ang isang bagay na orange does not need the orange part of light. So in other words, it rejects that orange. All the other colors it absorbs because it needs uh, those rays of the sun of light in its existence. So in other words, if we are brown, then brownness is what we reject. Okay, so there is nothing brown about us. We're only brown because the brown part of the light spectrum is reflected, so it is not absorbed by us. So it's funny to think about it na ang isang bagay ay Ang isang bagay kaya maitim, ito muna, ang isang bagay kaya itim because it absorbs everything, every part of the spectrum of light. So that ang isang bagay na maitim ay napaka-colorful in fact kasi it absorbs all the colors of the light spectrum. See? So it's kind of crazy, but how did it come to that? How did it happen this way? Now we actually call something by its color when in fact that color is what it doesn't. The color characteristic is what it doesn't have, and that's why it reflects. 'Di ba? So that's crazy. When something is red, it is actually missing the redness characteristic in itself because it rejects the being red part of the spectrum. So it's crazy. Ngayon, noon, nung mga panahon ni na Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, well, before Aristotle, kasi nauna si Socrates at si Plato sa kanya, si Socrates was the teacher of Plato and Plato was the teacher of Aristotle. And Socrates was the very first, okay, he was the very first, according to most or all of the historians of philosophy, si Socrates ang unang-una nagsimula ng critical thinking. Siya yung nag-question sa lahat ng bagay. So, because nakita niya yung mga rhetoricians, yung mga tinatawag niyang sophists, okay, di pala, pre-sophists, yung mga, they try to convince people of something without using logic or proof in fact or reality. So, they would try to convince you that something is orange by tricking you by means of using words and orangeness and like the fact of being orange is orangeness, and if you have this characteristic that of orangeness, then you will be orange, and if you are brown, then you have the characteristic of brownness, and therefore you are brown. But now science completely debunks that, completely and absolutely debunks that. Uh, it is not what you have that makes you appear a particular color. It is what you reject that makes you appear a particular color. So, but yun nga, ang sinasabi ni Socrates, because they were doing a lot of these things, convincing people about something or about a political belief, kasi ang hilig talaga mag-usap ng politiko yung mga politika, yung mga Greeks eh. Almost every day in the marketplace, which they call the stoa or the ano nga ang tawag nila doon, James? The agora, I think.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They called it.
Yeah.
And agora is still what we call the
Market.
palengke in Cagayan. Uh, and we kept that. And that is not Spanish, that's Greek. Okay, agora. Um,
Mm.
the agora is where these discussions would happen because the agora is the center of traffic of a lot of different people. Kasi nandyan yung mga namimili, nandyan yung nagbebenta, nandyan yung nagpapapalit ng pera, nandyan yung nagpapabuo ng pera, ganyan. So ang daming tao dyan, and the exchange of ideas in that area is therefore fertile, di ba? Maraming ideas na dumadating dyan sa area na yan dahil ang mga tao na nandyan ay galing sa iba't ibang lugar. May mga nag-aalaga ng kambing from a very far place. May mga nagtatanim ng mga sayote dito sa kabilang place. And when they all come together in the market to sell their stuff, they get to talk to each other and they get to discuss their beliefs. And therefore, they exchange ideas and thus development of collecting all of these beliefs and discussing with other people and convincing them na mas maganda yata itong belief ko about all these things, about God, about morality, about ethics. Walang TV doon noon sa kanila. Walang internet, walang TikTok, walang YouTube, walang Pornhub. All they could do was go to the
Pornhub talaga.
go to the Agora to talk to people. Okay, even if they had nothing to sell, they went there to discuss because it is a worthwhile activity, and you learn something and you meet other people, and you met girls to probably do Pornhub kind of stuff later, or stuff like that. So
Ah,
the marketplace was the melting pot of pornography and other
ah,
things, of politics and ideas and science and all that stuff.
hmm,
So doon nag-develop yung kagalingan ng rhetoric, kasi may
mhm,
some of those people who were discussing things in the agora
ah,
would try to convince other people by the means of rhetoric. Pagdating ni Socrates, sabi niya, idiots.
hmm.
Uh, the way that these people are trying to convince
Balagtasan ha. Sa
ay
Tagalog yan, balagtasan. Tama?
balagtasan
Mm. Okay.
is it is fake, it is not true, that does not represent what is true or real,
That's why we
sinasabi
need
ni
logic.
Socrates. So that's why we need to question everything, and we do not just accept anything that is told us. We have to think on our own. And what do you use to find out if the things that somebody tells you is rhetoric or
Mm.
actually fact?
Yan.
Marami. There's logic, and that can help.
Logic.
Okay. And
Socratic methods.
Socratic method. And logic is a tool of comparing statements in your head and ganito ganyan. Tama ba to kung silang dalawa magkasama? If I am human and all
Mm.
humans are animals, then am I an animal? Mga ganyan.
Mhm.
So the arrangement of these things is what logic is all about.
Mm.
Okay? And there are rules of logic that will help you once you know all of these rules. At maikli lang tong rules of logic. Ilan lang yan
Ah.
sila.
And that
Pag
is
na
what we just showed you earlier.
mm,
That
ilan
okay.
lang yan sila, but they're very, very helpful. You can always remember na itong rule na to ng logic ang nag-a-apply dito na
Mm.
i-generalize mo, may isang Pilipino na may isang taga Bicol akong nakita kanina na ang sama ng ugali, therefore lahat ng taga Bicol ay mas maang ugali.
Mm.
Pag alam mo na hasty generalization in
Yan.
logic is a fallacy, you will immediately remember that because you see it
Ah.
in reality na ito. Sinabi niya, nakakita siya ng isang taga Bicol na ang sama ng ugali, and therefore lahat ng taga Bicol mas sama ang ugali. And compare it to the rule of logic that which is hasty generalization. You will know that I won't believe this guy.
Ah.
I won't believe this guy because what he's saying is a fallacy. Right? So we can use logic to do that. The
As
other
they
one,
say. Sige, the
the
other
other
one.
one is actually knowing things yourself. When you
Mm.
have seen the sun rising out of the east
Mhm.
every single day of your life, okay, you're probably going to be justified believing that tomorrow the sun will rise out of the east.
Mhm.
That is the root, okay? That is the rota na kinuha ng science. The science use that root. Na
Mhm.
kung ano ang nakikita natin in observation and experimentation, and it repeats, we are justified to ourselves in believing that the next time somebody does the same experiment, it will be the same results. That is induction of science, okay?
Okay.
Inductive reasoning. Logic is deductive reasoning. And then, meron pang sumunod.
Yun
And
na
now,
yung modern symbolic na din.
modern
Huwag na
symbolic
tayo,
logic.
huwag na tayong pumunta dyan. Dito muna
Yes,
tayo kay
what's the next
Socrates.
one? Meron pa akong isa. The third one would govern our abstract ideas, like
Okay.
love, like humanity, like consciousness.
Mm.
These things we cannot see. Have you met consciousness walking around in the market and talking to people and being fondled by rapists or maniacs in the canto? We have not. Why? Because these are not entities in reality. These are ideas. Now, how do we judge if an idea is true or correct when you cannot verify it in the real world? You cannot experience it in the real world. And if I told you I love you and you say I'm illogical, I'm gonna kill you. Sabihin mo sa asawa mo yan na illogical yung sinasabi mo kasi I can't prove it. Di ba sakaling ka ng asawa mo? So
Mm.
now, how do we judge that abstract ideas are still true or real or good when we
So
cannot
history,
verify.
okay, history, even if it is written, is still abstract. Tama ba ako?
Well, history itself is abstract because it is an
Yan,
account of something
of
that
the
happened,
past. You cannot
di ba?
see
Because
anymore.
we are not actually talking about seeing Rizal
Like
being
me, like
shot
me,
in
no, no, no.
Bagong Bayan.
Oh,
That does not happen to us. We are just told of stories of that. And most of the time, it's not just stories of that, but interpretations of people about that story that get to be told to us.
oo.
Okay? It is not a raw story. It is a story that includes what the storyteller has in his brain when he is telling you the story. So everyone has that kind of bias, and we need to catch these things in everything that we get from every information that we get from other people, from media, and all that. And
Connect natin sa intro.
some people hate that. That they hate changing these things, finding the truth because they have so much vested interest in how the truth is already being handled
Presented.
right now. Being
Oo.
presented right now. They are happy about it because of not because it is the truth, but because it gives them something that is more than the truth, or that is maybe can buy more things than truth can ever will. That's why they hate to change that, and they make it appear like we are the bad ones.
Okay. I-relate lang natin yung concept na yan sa ating intro which is very, very recent. Diba? That piece of newspaper clipping will be part of our history. That Attorney Trixie Cruz-Angeles, ano, Press Secretary Rose Beatriz Trixie Cruz-Angeles
Let's
said,
find
di
that.
ba? That was our intro kanina sa mga na-late. No? Said that 64-year-old Marcos hit the ground running. By the way, gusto ko lang, I wanna set the record straight, Tony, and I hope you will remember. Sino ba talagang nagsabi ng hit the road running on that day about that thing? Sino?
On that, well, I
Day.
didn't
On that
watch
day.
that part eh. Ang
Yeah,
unang
it was
gumamit
not
niyan
Trixie.
actually is Ferdinand Marcos Jr. himself. But that was like 4 days before
Yeah, but
that press briefing.
on that day mismo,
I didn't catch it. I didn't
you
catch it.
didn't catch it that we talked
No.
about that in Tambayan?
No, no,
Actually,
hindi ko siya nakita. Hindi ko siya nakita personally
no,
kung
tayo
sino
mismo.
nagsabi nun.
Tayo mismo, before si Trixie nagpa-press ko, nung tanghali, nung nagtatambayan tayo, naalala mo? We discussed
Hindi
that
ko
for a while and then we used that term. He hit
Yeah.
the road running.
I think that
Tinanggal mo na that day.
yeah, but I
That
think
day,
that,
for
yeah,
that
for
day.
that
Yun
day,
ang
yeah.
sinasabi ko.
But I'm not
So,
saying that sila got it from us.
yeah, but
They
what I'm
actually
saying
probably
is,
thought of it themselves.
oo, but they put that into her mouth, but
Mm.
that newspaper will be in history. It is already in history because that happened yesterday, di ba?
Mm.
But we can easily check it and okay, ganito. Now it's my word against theirs. But you can go to YouTube and actually find out that I am correct. You can watch that part and this is wrong. But that thing na pinublish ng Manila Times will be in our libraries for the next 300 years.
Mm.
And future researchers will say na, oh, what kind of press secretary is this on their first week in office? She will call her boss 64-year-old who hits the ground running. You see, this will be part of our history. But let's look back, more recent natin ginamit, using Attorney Ahmed's logic, di ba? That's why we are presenting to you that the word propaganda did not have any meaning in terms of politics. And yet, our history books claim that in 1860, 1890s, ginamit na ng ating mga hero. Ang tatalino talaga nila, no?
Mm.
Isipin mo, naisip nila yun, nagamitin nila
Isip
yung
nila
word
yan.
na yun. Oh. And
To
then
use
yung,
the word to refer to themselves as a group.
oh, And then, nung nag-imbento sila ng bagong simbahan na ginawa talaga nila, ang tatalino nila, ginaya nila ng buong buo. Asan yung creativity? Okay? Doesn't make sense. So now, the issue, na balikan natin, ikap lang natin dun sa issue against Priles na secularization. Gusto natin na mapasa mapunta sa mga parang Pilipino yung pamumuno ng simbahan. Tama. Attorney, I'm sharing a screen. If you can
Uh,
put it up.
where is it? Where did you share?
Ito, yung share screen ko, nakikita mo?
Okay. Itong isang dangkal na tinatawag. Okay. Let's put it up.
Yan.
Yeah.
So here is from that material that we flashed the last part last night sa mga hindi nakaabot. But this is part of that, may link dyan. You can check that out. Para lang verifiable yung ating sinasabi. And this one is a commentary against the findings of Taft. Okay. It says here, okay, thus, for instance, in his statistics for Augustinians who numbered, say, he says, okay, so he there is Taft. The author here, this was written in 1903, ang ano nito, after nilabas ni Taft, Howard Taft, when he was the chairman of the Philippine Commission and later president of the United States. And then I think he still became the governor general after this. Okay? Okay, wait, sorry. Where did that go? Okay, here. He said that there are 644 Augustinians. Included 203 students in Spain in course for education at colleges of their order at Valladolid. Ayan, so, kino-question na yung bilang ni Taft ng Augustinians. But as he said above, the number of priests in the islands in 1898 was only 1,642. Okay? Sabi niya, there were 1,642 priests. Ito yung mga praile. Okay? Ang mga praile. Agustinians, 44. Pag sinabi natin praile, ito yung mga nasa mga monasteryo. Okay? The Benedictines, 14. Capuchins, 36. Praile pa rin yan. Hindi mga gusto daw paalisin ng mga Pilipino na pare. Dominicans, 528. Praile yan. Franciscans, 475. Praile yan. Jesuits, 164. Lazarus, 35. Of whom only were 27 were priests. Recoletos, or discalced, unshod Augustinians, 522. Dami. While of native clergymen, according to Judge Taft, there are only 150 in charge of small parishes. Okay, I don't know how you will react to this data which is coming from, kinu-question na nga na yan. Okay? Kinu-question na to ng itong findings na to ni Taft because he says, mas marami yung kanilang bilang. Sabi niya dito sa baba, okay, there are no doubt. We learned the number of native priests in the Philippines was 675. Granted that this is his contention against Taft's bilang na 150. So how do you fit this now with the call for these priests to take over the job of 1,600 clergymen in 1,707 islands? Ilan ba tayo, Atty?
Bakit nawala? Anong nangyari dyan?
Nawawala na ako eh. Ha?
Yan, bumalik na.
Okay. Yeah, ako hindi ko na mahanap yung sarili ko. Ano ba to? Here.
We can see you. We can see you.
Yeah. No. Yung screen ko lang kasi nag-ano ko. So, if there are only 100 Filipino priests, 150, sabi ni Taft, and this one who is trying to dispute these numbers, and he says there are 670. Okay, given 670, there are 7 million Catholics at that time. 7 million. 150 kayo, magpapamisa kayo ng 7 million na tao, linggo-linggo. magpapakumpisal kayo ng 7 million na tao pagdating ng Holy Week. At noon, hindi yun sila Holy Week lang nagkukumpisal. Halos linggo-linggo, isang buwan, isang kada buwan. Tapos alam naman natin na, no? So we have already disproven that they hated the Catholic Church because they even made a church that was exactly like the Catholic Church. And bawas mo pa dyan yung mga lumipat sa Aglipay. So if these people were even smart enough to imagine na palayasin natin yung mga Kastila na yan, tayo na yung hahawak dyan. Kasi sabi sa batas, that's true, ha? That's true. Tinanggal na yung civil authority ng mga praile. In that history, in that Constitution of 1883 or whatever.
Constitution ng Spain.
Constitution ng Spain, especially noong 1869. Nakita natin na yung pinaka-proximate cause nung hidwaan with Gumburza and not really Philippine independence. So if you're so smart enough to think that you can boot them out, did you even think of how you can run all the parishes in this country with 150 priests? Yun, logic. Let's use logic, di ba? Una, ano nga ba talaga ang issue? Bakit hindi sila napapayagan na maging mga praile? Hindi. Mga praile. Kasi, kumbaga, ganito kasi yan, I will share some stock knowledge on the Catholic Church. Tito ko kasi is bishop, and I clarified this. Meron ba talagang kasalanan yung mga pare kapag gumanon sila ng babae?
Anong gumanon siya? Pornhub ba yan? Pornhub?
Pornhub, makipag-pornhub with babae.
Okay.
Kayo muna sumagot. What is the real answer to that question?
Masama ba talaga makipag-pornhub sa passionate pornhub?
Passionate pornhub with a woman kasi online tayo, mahirap na, no? Meron kasalanan? Meron?
Baka masensor tayo.
No, even right now. Okay, we're waiting for some comments because it seems like it is an ongoing issue about priesthood. Because, okay, let's just, kung ano yung
common knowledge. May sinasabi si Dada.
Common knowledge is the vows. So, what are the vows? Ano yung vows ng mga pare? Yung alam natin, vows of...
Ngayon sabi ni Dada.
Dada, yeah.
Of celibacy.
Okay. Poverty, chastity, and...
Obedience.
Okay. Celibacy. What is celibacy?
Celibacy is a sea in the south of the Philippines.
No. What does it mean?
Celibacy, di ba? Celibacy? Ano ba sinasabi mo?
Celibate. What is celibate?
Ba't ako tinatanong mo? Seminarista ba ako?
Oh, yeah, seminarista ka eh.
Ay, oo nga pala. Celibacy means sa amin sa religious na congregation, it's not actually celibacy.
It's chastity.
It's chastity.
Okay?
So, it's not only that you don't have a partner ng sex, but you have to be chaste. That you have never tried it before or will never ever try it ever.
No Pornhub, Father. No Pornhub, Praile. Praile
yung
religious.
Chastity.
Okay.
Yan yung chastity.
Kasi kung sino yung mga religious, yung mga Praile na sinasabi natin, yun yung may vow.
Yun yung mga Augustinians,
yan, yung mga
Franciscans, Dominicans, Claretians,
Benedictines.
Ayan sila. Yan yung mga religious congregations. Mga Praile.
Anacela. Tawag dito, the secular priests, they do not have that vow of chastity. They have a vow of celibacy. And
Meron meron pa kaming poverty.
Tama to si
Ikaw wala.
Anacela, oh. Anacela, the vow of celibacy is a prohibition on marriage, not a
Mm.
prohibition on sex.
Mm. Sa aming chastity, they can actually have sex but they cannot marry.
Well, it doesn't say that. But there's no direct prohibition. Ano yung tawag
Pero
niyo dyan sa abogado para yung what the law does
ito
not
pala,
say
ito pala yung sinasabi ko. So, sorry. Mali yung spelling ko pala. Celibacy. Sorry po, sorry po.
equals chastity.
Because it is a sea in the south of the Philippines.
Oo.
Di ba? Celibacy. Pero, sorry. Mali po ako. Next time na lang.
Okay? So, uh, di ba, malinaw ba na ang issue dito ay una, napaka-weird. Pangalawa, so kung ang issue nyo ay ayaw nyo ng mga pare na Friday, kasi kumakanto, hindi bala, kumukuhanap sila. Sorry. Kumakanto ba yun? Kumakanto o hindi? Pumupornhub sila.
Sige. Pumapornhub.
Pumupornhub sila. So, para tama, matalino naman pala yung ating mga katipunero. Pwede sila mag-pornhub. Dapat secular lang.
Secular lang.
Oo,
Kasi
ayun
kung
lang yun,
Friday sila, hindi sila pwedeng pornhub.
pero kung
Hindi ka
secular
pwedeng mag-asawa eh.
Ito, hindi lang pwede mag-asawa. Tama ba yun? Ito ba yung pinaglaban ng
Hindi,
ating
kasi
mga katipunero?
Isipin mo if you have a religious order which have the vow of chastity, meaning you can never have sex, or on the other hand, yung mga diocesan, okay, itong secular priest na tinatawag, ay meron silang vow of chastity. Hindi sila pwedeng mag-asawa.
Celibacy. Celibacy.
Celibacy. Does it mean that hindi rin sila pwedeng makipag-sex? O pwede sila makipag-sex pero hindi pwedeng
Ano yung
mag-asawa?
term nyo dyan? Ano yung term nyo dyan na what the law does not say, it does not say? Ano yun? May Latin term yan eh.
Exclusio unius. Exclusio unius. What something. Like that. But that's the celibacy.
But the meaning is, sige.
Do not include what it does not. The law. Something
What the law-
excludes. Okay. The law excludes. What the law excludes cannot be included by ano ba yun? Hindi, mali yun. Exclusio unius. Parang tipo ang sinasabi niya, what the law.
May nalim something yan eh.
Oo. Ang sinasabi doon is what the law excludes cannot be included in its application. Parang gano'n ang importance niya.
So kumbaga, by matter of law, if it only says celibacy,
It's
it
the
doesn't
celibacy.
say, it doesn't say anything about sex.
Yan. Sinabi niya, inclusio
Start.
unius est exclusio ulterius.
Yan.
Yan.
Explain mo yan sa amin, attorney.
Ayoko. Latin yan eh. Tapos na, wala. Dead language na yan eh. Ayoko, ipaliwanag yan. Hindi ko ipaliwanag. I don't like.
Sidencio ba yung kailangan natin dito?
Sidencio ang magaling mag-explain ng Latin.
Anus to anus?
Ang sinasabi, unius yan, unius. Hindi,
Unius.
yung kasabihan yung kay, anus yung kasabihan yun ni Dencio.
Anus yung kay Dencio eh.
Dencio, kasabihan niya yun eh. Yung ang taong mahilig sa anus. Sabi niya na, inclusio unius est exclusio ulterius. Yung est is. Ayoko yung paliwanag yan. Ayoko. Latin yan eh. Dead language.
What is excluded,
but what it means is that what is
si
excluded can be included.
Ayan, sabi ni Maki. Yun. Sabi ng simbahan, ang mga secular priests are supposed to take the vow of celibacy. While
Celibacy.
the celibacy, yun lang sila sa celibacy. While the Fridays, they are supposed to take the vow
Chastity.
So,
ay, ang mga Friday yung mahilig daw makipag-sex daw sa mga daughters of the taong bayan.
Ganito.
Ba't ganyan sila?
Ito lang yung ano ko dyan
Ano
talaga.
ba yung mga
Ito,
stepdaughter style, ganyan?
ito mga praile, sa totoo lang. Ito nagkapag-aral to sa Espanya. Dito sila nag-aral. Most of them. Bakit? Dahil ang taas ng requirement dyan sa educational standard. Kaya nga si Hermano Puling hindi makapasok because of the educational standard. At yun actually ang problema ng mga pare at the time. They cannot ordain them because hindi sila makapag-qualify. So that's why they needed to build that Santo Tomas. Okay? Para may mapag-aaralan. Now, yung mga bishops, they do not become bishops serving here. Galing pa yan sa Espanya, naging bishop na yan. At that time, well, they had a pope na Spanish na may mga anak, no? Sino to? Borgia, the one who made the papal bull. Okay? So in terms of following those vows, medyo hindi yan masyadong issue sa kanila, basta wag lang mag-asawa. The reason why bawal yung mag-asawa at bakit may distinction is very very practical sa totoo lang. The reason for the reason na itong mga parish priests, the secular priests, they are entrusted the properties of the church in their parishes. In the same way that the bishop is entrusted with the properties na pangkalahatan yung ownership. But the parish priest owns the convento, the property ng convento and the sementeryo. Kung nag-asawa yan, ano mangyayari kung nag-asawa yung pare? So, ipapamana niya yan sa kanyang anak? Di ba? Yun yung prohibition dyan. Na talagang hindi po pwedeng mag-asawa ang isang pare. Kasi yung ating mga batas, mayroon tayong succession laws. Okay? Sa kanila kasi yan talaga ini-entrust eh. Kaya nga nagkaroon tayo ng mga kaso nung nag-aklas yung mga pare sumali sa aglipay, tangay-tangay nila yung mga property ng simbahan na naka-entrust sa kanila at that time. So maybe nagkaroon yan sila ng yung corporation soul classification in the law later on na ni-recognize na ng kasi dati may naka-include pa sila sa state, so wala silang problema. Pag sinabi ng bishop, wala, akin yan. Wala kang magagawa. Pero nung nagkaroon ng separation of the church and state, so merong mga ganyang klaseng issues. So dito sa atin, nagkaroon tayo ng concept na corporation soul and then nailagay yan legally during the American times under the name of the bishop. Kaya lahat na ng properties ng mga simbahan ay kung ikaw ay nasa isang Catholic area, ang usual na pangalan the Roman Catholic Bishop of something. Siya yung owner nun. Okay? Main reason for KKK and other previous and later rebellions was abuses of the privileged class, including the friars and their king. Wow. The friars had king, huh? Unfortunately, they did not have a champion like the DDH had with PRD. Tatay, yun nga po yung pinag-uusapan natin dito eh. Parang wala kasing katotohanan yan tay. That's what we're trying to discuss for now. Not in protection of the Catholic Church, but just for us to make linaw, we're just starting with this. Okay? So, nakikita nyo na napaka walang ang tawag dyan, walang struktura sa katotohanan. Yung ilan pa yung na-discuss pa lang natin. One is saan ba tayo nagsimula? Propaganda, the term propaganda movement. And then yung kanilang kawalan ng walang logic na ayaw mo sa isang institusyon pero gumawa ka naman talaga. Hindi sana kung wala kang ginawa. Nagsimba ka lang kasi yun yung dati nating bakit mahal pa rin natin yung simbahan? Sa mga probinsya, makikita natin yung mga lola. Di ba? Were these people supposed to be the ones who were,
Oh,
so,
revolting. Mm.
or revolting, and then, why are they still there? So, yun
Yes.
palang question, but ito pala, meron palang actual na example talaga. The Katipuneros made their own church, and they copied the whole thing.
They copied the structure of
The whole
this thing that
structure,
they hate.
the belief system,
Even the God
di
they
ba?
copied.
Oh,
Yeah.
sige nga, oh, yung iba nga, di ba? Yung mga anak na galing sa isang broken family, galit sila sa tatay nila, so they will do everything so that their family will be hindi magiging broken family. Di ba? That is the most common na tema sa mga palabas ng ABS-CBN. That when you hate something and you fight it, your reason is you want to be everything else but it. Tama?
Yep.
Then
Eh,
why did
bakit
they
ang
make
ginagawa
some?
ng Katipunero did the exact opposite of that?
Uh, and not only
Di
that,
ba
okay?
may kasabihan, if you hate something, don't you do it too. Yeah.
Di ba? And then we already proven yesterday that the documents of the Katipunan itself doesn't say anything in their 22 list of issues against the realm of the king. Wala silang sinasabing issue tungkol sa mga praile, kundi yung kanilang Pornhub. Tama ba, Tony?
Oo,
Pornhub
important
lang.
talaga ang pinakamagandang topic doon.
Na ano nyo ba yun? Nasunod nyo ba yun? Nasundan nyo ba yung kahapon na Pornhub lang yung kanilang issue? Gusto
Mm.
mo ilagay natin yan dyan? Gusto mo ilagay natin dyan, ha? Yung Pornhub issue ng mga
Oo,
Katipunero.
akin na.
Meron ka? Hindi, meron ako dito eh.
Mm.
Ah, Kasaysayan. Okay, ito na lang. Kasaysayan. Okay, mga kasaysayan. Ay, huwag na. Yan yung mga sulat ni Aguinaldo eh. Kinlose ko ba to?
Bilisan mo kasi
Ay,
alas 2
sinarado ko
na.
na. Ikaw na muna.
Anong sasabihin ko?
Ay, hindi. Tungkol sa ano. So, Pornhub.
Wrap up. Bukas
Okay,
naman,
so,
yung iba.
okay, bukas naman, ha? So, balikan natin
Mm.
yan. We are just continuing with this and then we started
Mm.
with the current situation okay, we saw this yesterday, we're seeing it every day. Isn't this happening in the long term and a large way? So, we are
All
showing
right?
you that in our history, there are lots of propaganda na ang propaganda ay yung propaganda mismo.
Yes.
Yup.
And sometimes
Very,
the
very.
propaganda and sometimes people who actually call themselves propaganda movement may haven't heard of
Of
the
the
word
word
propaganda
propaganda
at all during their time. So
during their
let's see
lifetime.
about that. Okay. Malay mo,
Mhm.
malaman natin kung sino yung nagsabing propaganda movement ang tawag sa kanila when in fact it was not.
Mm.
Grupo lang talaga sila, parang mga tambay lang sila sa isang cafe sa Paris, 'di ba? Kagaya ng painting ni Del Pilar, ni Juan Luna,
Mm.
ay cafe in Paris lang sila na tropa, tambay-tambay lang sila. Isipin mo itong mga to, na hirap ang mga Pilipino dito sa base doon sa sinulat ni Bonifacio na ang taas-taas ng tax, pinabawasan pa nila yung mga ang ganito ganyan, mga kita namin. Tapos itong mga to ay tumatambay sa Paris, France, nagkakape-kape sila doon.
Balik natin sa present.
Mukhang tama
Sino
nga
yan?
naman yung sinabi niya.
Sino yan? Sino yan
Di ba?
nasa labas niyan? Joe Masison, di ba? Bye!
Teka muna,
Nasa Utrecht si Joe
robot
Masison.
na yung pantinig ko sa'yo, sir.
Okay. Utrecht.
Again.
Utrecht. Utrecht.
Yan.
Utrecht.
Yan, ulit.
Utrecht.
Ano yung Utrecht?
Sinasabi mo, di ba? Ano-ano
Correct.
lang yung mga hero natin doon? Kape-kape?
Parang
Sa
ang bagal
labas,
na ng internet mo, sir. Hindi ka na gumagalaw. Ay, o ako lang ba?
Ikaw yan.
Let's go.
Malakas yung internet ko. Ikaw yan.
Okay, let's continue tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cheryl Lee,
Bye.
nabigay siya ng
Ay, salamat.
Namigay siya ng ano, ganyan, no?
Wow,
Anong ibig sabihin niyang
what
W?
is that W?
Oh, tanga kasi ako, hindi ko alam yun eh. Okay, Google ko yan mamaya-maya.
Oh,
GMT.
GMG. Surely,
Maraming salamat sa iyo,
yan, hindi
Cheryl.
namin alam yung W, but we will try to find out what that W is.
Cheryl.
Bye. Good track.
Bye, good night. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
See you
tomorrow.
Bye. Ano ba ito mga out.
Okay. Let's play this thing.
Okay.
There. Bye. Good night. See you tomorrow.